As I've told you, I had a lot going on at the time. So in and Emily, I don't think knows this, the chat, the world doesn't really know this. So in August of 2020, my father was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. We got hired on this case in like the second week of September. My brother-in-law was diagnosed with cancer also in, I think, October, and my sister was pregnant at the time. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on, and
life happens
I
while
was,
you're working
yeah,
with these big trials.
I was dealing with this case. My father actually ended up passing on September 5th. Tomorrow is the 3-month anniversary of his passing. So, I mean, it was like 6 weeks before the trial started. So
my biggest condolences.
Yeah,
on that.
there was, thank you. There was a lot going on. So there are discussions, things like that, you know, I was not in a place to put myself in the middle of. You know, if I had wanted to, I'm sure that I could have been more involved in some of those conversations, but I had to get through everything.
Yeah.
So,
and just so that the viewers know, I mean, you might think that September is a long time before, you know, November when this trial started, but when you're in trial prep mode, there is so much work leading up to trial.
And we were always in trial prep mode.
November.
Yeah, we were always in trial prep mode. This is not a situation that was going to do anything but a trial. I mean, I started making trial work product like the first week we're on the case. You know, I spent so many hours. God, there's so many charts, things like that I have. You know, it had been more. And a lot of people, like, I think especially movies and TVs don't really capture really what brain cancer does to a person. So, and it was very difficult for me. And that really had to do with, you know, a lot of my thought process throughout going with things. The way that I approach things also is, you know, with Kyle, and sort of me being more motherly to Kyle is, you know, I missed out on a lot of time with my family because of all of this. And even when my father was alive, I mean, and he knew that I was doing this and was incredibly proud of me. But, you know, it's an emotional case for me because of that, which is kind of more of one of the reasons why I wanted to actually talk about my experiences. This is all sort of my grieving healing process, because I didn't get to do that. My father, like I said, died September 5th. We buried him a week later. And every moment after that was this trial. I mean, it had been for years. And I have to say thank you to Mark. I mean, especially considering what we were dealing with and the stakes involved. You know, he was incredibly supportive to a level, I don't want to say a level that I wasn't anticipating, but to one of those things like human decency sometimes just like strikes you right in the right place. It's like, oh, that's so decent of you. But you know, he, I think, knew how hard I was trying and what I was doing in this situation, which is why, you know, people had asked, I'd seen, you know, about, was I crying at the verdict? Yes. Of course I cried at the verdict. First of all, you know, and that's again, something that you can't necessarily tell because of like the resolution, but oh my goodness.
I'm sorry. That's the dog. You're telling this very deep and sincere story.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with crying at a verdict though.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is Corey and Mark were both tearing up. I mean, and you put so much time into everything. And, you know, I'm not a religious person, but when we're waiting for a verdict, I was talking to my dad. I was like, you please watch over Kyle type of thing. And, you know, no matter what happens. And we get to this point where, you know, it was just like a catharsis. It's this huge release because you have all these emotions. And, you know, that was another thing with me not doing an interview before now is like, I had just such a huge meltdown after this was over. I completely melted down and I cried and slept for about 5 days. And then I went home with my family. And, you know, it was something that it was like really great considering what, because I had put a lot of work into it, and we all had, and having it come out the way that it did, it's like it wasn't for nothing. I didn't lose time with my father before he died for nothing.